Alright, so it's been a couple days since I was at the track on Thursday night at Gallant Motorsports Park with the TTSaleen behind me there. And I'm sure you've seen my video by now where I went to the track, made the pass and everything. Because I do full disclosure in my videos, I don't try to hide anything. I didn't actually have a chance to look at my video while I was at the track. And as you know, I don't really data log. I could probably figure out how to hook my laptop to my SCT tuner and try to data log something in my 98 computer I'm still running this thing on. Also have the ability to log into my Quick 6 controller with the laptop and try to pull information from it. I don't know if I can do both at the same time. So anyway, long story short, I don't data log at the track. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, whatever. If you notice in my video, my wideband actual screwy, I always run C16 gas, a couple gallons in addition to 93. It's just a safety measure. Anytime I go to the track, I've always done that. It's just that little margin of safety to make it a little bit richer, just to have it, you know. So anyway, get out of the way. I think the C16 gas kills my oxygen sensor because it was working fine, and in the last year when I ran the car, I had like straight C16 in the tank. I found with this car, this Cobra tank, I have to run at least 3/4 full or higher, or the fuel actually, it'll surge. It's like it's not, the 3 pumps are sucking the sump dry or something. It's crazy. Anything under half a tank, it'll surge and you can see the fuel pressure fluctuate. Anything over half a tank, it doesn't do it. So a little experimentation I found. So I have to run it high. C16 is like $80+ for 5-gallon pails, so you can see how it gets kind of expensive for me. I haven't been able to convert the car over to E85 yet because the injectors I want to run, I don't think my computer has the capability of running them. So this is where I'm on the fence to convert into a Holly. If I go to a Holly, I can run whatever injectors I want. Anyway, that's to be determined. So full disclosure, if you watch my video, this is why I want to get to the point. I didn't mention after the pass, I pulled through the scales and I weighed the car. I haven't weighed the car ever. So Caleb and I were kind of contemplating, what do you think it's gonna weigh? And he had an idea, I had an idea. I thought it was gonna weigh about 3,600 to 3,700 pounds roughly. And I figured by taking these two leather seats out of the front of it and my 10-inch subwoofer here, which typically resides in the back, you know, I always say I got my 10-inch sub in it. I figured between those 3 pieces, I dropped a little over 100 some pounds, you know, whatever. I haven't weighed them, but let's just say 100 some pounds. Those seats, those Mach 1 seats are super heavy. Anyway, I was very surprised after the pass to pull up into the scales. Now, let me show you the car. The sub's out, obviously. And inside the car, there's no passenger seat. There is still the back seats. And I got the one Kirky race seat in there. Just like you see it, this is straight from the track with me in it and a full tank of fuel. It weighed 3,835 pounds. Right? I was just as surprised as you are. Couldn't believe it. I even asked the guy, I was like, hey man, are you standing on it? He chuckled, you know, he's like, no. that is really heavy. So with those 2 seats in it and the subwoofer box, which normally is in the car when I run it, because I figured more weight over the back of the car, traction, you know, the whole street thing. This thing was over 4,000 pounds. Ridiculous. So when you look at how much it weighs and what it ran the other night, it shows you the power the car makes. It's just trying to get it to 60 foot and leave properly. And as I explained in my other video, I was real green to this new controller and leaving on the trans brake in the 2-step, how it works. That was the first time at the track I'm able to do it. Here on the street, it just blows the tires away. So, because I feel like you'd be interested in knowing this stuff, if you've ever had a Quick 6 controller, all right, so with the Quick 6 controller, when you power it up, it'll come on. It basically shows you where we're at. I've got the controller turned off. I've got the CO2 turned off. So if you hit memory, it shows you what the boost launch is. It's still on 6 pounds from the other night. You hit enter, and it asks you how many stages of boost. Now I've got 3 stages. Now before I hit the next screen, I just want to know how many actually looked at my boost gauge going down the track. Okay, now you're gonna know why. So here we go, 3 stages. Hit enter. So as you can see here, we leave, after I let go of the trans brake, it immediately goes to 15 pounds. That's why it's 0, 0 here and 15 there. This rate is how hard it'll come in. So 15 and 10 and 10 is how I've got it ramped down, which should be kind of aggressive. From there, after it goes to 15 initially, 0.8 of a second later, it would go to 20 pounds. And then 1.2 seconds into the run, it should go to 25 pounds. So you see that? So full disclosure here, I had planned on, if the car actually ran good and hooked good, I was gonna stay in it and try to run down the track with 25 pounds of boost. Unfortunately, what I'm seeing here is, well, a couple things. One is, it's not a true indication of what the car makes. I've got 3-pound springs in my wastegates, and they even say in the instructions it can vary a couple pounds based on what kind of gate pressure you run with your CO2, which is right here in this tank. I think I run mine, I think it's like 65 pounds is what I run on the gate. So when you turn on the pressure, you can actually adjust this valve right here. I don't know if you can see that very good in here, it's kind of dark. But you adjust this valve and you can raise this pressure up on here and get higher pressure. And I was told just most people run somewhere around 60 to 70 pounds of gate pressure. So that's what I'm running. After reviewing some other guys' videos, some of them run as high as up to 80, 90 pounds of gate pressure. So I might try that, see how that affects what it does. Another thing to do is just know that it could be 2 to 3 pounds low what I'm commanding it. So if I command it to be 25 pounds, technically it's like 22 pounds going down the track. Reason I bring all this up, if you know me and you're paying attention to my video, again, I was showing the boost gauge going down the track. But if you remember a few videos back, I put this trans brake button here. I also put this button over here. This button has 2 features. One, it allows you to bump in, which I didn't do because what I found here in my driveway testing is this 6R80, and maybe it's something weird with mine in particular, but when I try to bump in, it'll bump in and then it like immediately pushes through the trans brake even when I'm holding the button. This is what happened at Fayetteville a few months back. So I feel like when I'm bumping in, because it's solenoid controlled, it doesn't like that. Maybe it's some setting I can change or whatever, but that's why I didn't bump in at Benson. I just went right into both bulbs, went on the trans brake and went up on it. In a drag race situation where I'm competing, that's not gonna help me. I'm probably gonna get left at the line every single time. But just for test and tune, who cares? I'll just pull in, stage, whoever leaves beside me, to let them go ahead and leave. It's no big deal. But the other feature of that button is it's a scramble button. And on scramble, I can add 5 pounds of boost. So while I'm giving you all this background, because full disclosure, when I left the line, it felt like a turtle. It was slow as can be, as I mentioned in my video. And so if you watch my left hand, I go up from here on the steering wheel and bring it down, and within like a half a second or so, you see the boost gauge go, because I took my thumb and I pressed that green button because I was like, you know what, we're not gonna have a bad run here. We're gonna see what this thing will do, and if it'll take it. Obviously, when I hit it, it was somewhere in the stage 2 where it was supposed to be around 20 pounds of boost, which we know now was probably around 17, 18. So when I hit it, it went to about 22 pounds of boost. And you'll see the boost gauge go roughly to about 22 pounds. And all of a sudden it goes to about 25, 26 pounds. That's when it went to the 3rd stage. It's supposed to be at 25 pounds on its own. And technically, if I hit the button, it should have gone to 30 pounds of boost. But you can see in the boost gauge, it clearly didn't go that high. It seemed to fluctuate around 25, 26 pounds. That was only near the very end of the run. So in reality, the first half of the run was really low boost. I was just, you know, again, learning where it needs to leave and how to ramp it in, and just looking at the data and everything, just my videos and going back and seeing how the car left, all the different angles that I had for it. I could have hit a lot more off the line. So my plan is to go back, raise the launch boost to like 10 or 11 pounds or something like that, effectively almost double off the hit, see if it'll take it. And as soon as it comes off the launch boost, I'm gonna have it go immediately to like 21, 22 pounds and see how that does. I'm still gonna have the scramble button on 5. So worst case, it could still go down the track just like I did before. This is why I keep race gas in the tank. If I ever feel squirrely and I want it to, like, you know, run a pass, I can hit the button. So this is why the ET wasn't that much better than what I've run in the past, but the mile per hour really picked up. So, but I got the car to go 122.9, basically 123 miles an hour. If you go back and look at my video, I actually didn't get into all the boosts until way over half track. And by the time it was in full swing, I was over half track, and then it was coming on, which is why the mile per hour really picked up. To get the ET down, I really need to hit it harder off the line, get the 60 foot down, and get the overall ET to drop. but the mile per hour indicates it should be closer to mid 5-second car. But again, with the 3,800 pound weight, I was just really surprised. The reason you saw a bunch of carbon come out off the line, I think two things. One, I drive it so much on the street, had a lot of carbon buildup in the exhaust. And two, because it's such low boost and I hit it, it was kind of overly rich at the bottom. Once the boost came in, you saw it down the track, it was perfectly clean. Hats off to Caleb Skinner. He did a great job tuning the car. He's tweaked on the tune over the years a little bit here and there, but the tune's been phenomenal. The car runs great. For a 98 computer and SCT tune that he worked on, a custom tune for me, it's been great. And can't say enough good things about Melvin building a motor for this thing, because here we are going on 12 years now with this engine combination, and it's rock solid. I mean, it runs perfectly fine. As you know from other videos, I just can't seem to figure out transmission, drive shafts, and rear ends on the car. I've torn out pretty much every transmission, drive shaft, rear end I've ever had on the car. But long story short, the transmission's been fine. Brett LaSala built the transmission. It's been phenomenal. It does great. I've had one issue where the pump went out, which happens, you know, and he was great. He fixed it up for me, sent it back right away. Circle D did the converter. At the end of the track, I told you I had another failure. When I looked at the video, if you watch it, going down the track, the speedometer's working, and about halfway down the track, the speedometer drops to 0, because that's the output speed sensor again. It must have failed going down the track. And then at the end of the track, when I let off the gas, I'm slowing down, all of a sudden you'll see the speedometer jump back up and start working again. So it's really weird, you know what I mean? If the sensor was bad, the speedometer wouldn't work at all. It's just really strange. I can drive around here on the street, speedometer works perfectly, it never throws a code, but for some reason, every time we go to the track, it's got some kind of issue. Anyway, I want to give you an update, a little behind the scenes of the TTSaleen, how it ran, what I ran, why it ran, what it did. I feel like next time I go to the track, leaving harder, and again, as you can tell, I have no problem throwing a boost at this car. I just haven't had a chance to really do it in full force yet. Jason Brazel built this roll bar in it, so the car's stiffer now. He's got the shock set up on it and the anti-sway bar under the bottom, so the car's going straight as can be. So I'm not worried about putting the power down now. It's just the fact of going to a track that's ready to go, and me getting the car ready to go. With the drag radio car, you really got to hit it off the line and keep the power pouring on to it. I know into 20 pounds of boost ain't a lot for racing a mod motor car, especially one that weighs 3,800 pounds like this, but I'm hoping that at the end of the day, I can end up somewhere around 25-ish pound of boost, going down the track consistently, leaving hard, and cutting somewhere in the 130, maybe a 120, 60 foot with this car somewhere. And my goal is to run 560s. So full disclosure, I'd like to run 560s in the car in the 8th, and somewhere in the high 8s in the quarter. So that's really where I set out to have this car at last year, and I hope we'll get there soon. But anyway, just want to give you behind the scenes. Here we are in the TTSaleen. Just give you a shot inside of my office here. Everything's coming along great. Just a few things that I thought you might find interesting.